Good morning, guys. On a bleary-eyed Saturday morning, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit hungover. I had a bottle of wine last night as soon as I finished because I just wanted to. Because City won 4-3, and it was lovely watching Scott Carson and Ferran Torres essentially hog the headlines. It was absolutely beautiful stuff. I want to say hello to everyone already here watching. Well, it's good to see so many people just hanging around, waiting, and all that kind of stuff. It's nice as well to see a couple of people already waiting to have their say on the Fan View Live. If you want to have your say, don't forget, you can jump over to if you're a patron or scruffy Stephen, just got out of the shower. If you're a patron or a YouTube member, it'll be in the YouTube community tab, or it'll be on patreon.com/esteemed company, and you'll see a little link and all that kind of stuff. And it's in the Slack group as well. Bloody hell, I need a haircut already. Anyway, good morning to everyone. Good morning to Hacken. Good morning to Not Will and Source Monster as well. I'm going to jump over in a second to Saffie and Matt, who are waiting there. But I want to say, don't forget as well, to make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm pretty much at the Etihad capacity now, which is absolutely wonderful stuff. So big love to every single one of you. All I can see is my scruffy hair camera. Just got out of bed. Just had a shower. But City last night were pretty decent, man. It was fun. It's one of those games where, like, at this stage of the season, individual performances are kind of all you can look for, because obviously as the collective the job is already done, so you just want to see if certain players have a game to basically to worth making a video to chat about amongst City fans. And last night we saw that from a couple of players, most notably obviously Ferran Torres, I'm sure will hog the headlines today during this video. Then it was also good to see the chemistry around the team with Scott Carson as well, and it was good to see potentially if any players could maybe give Guardiola something to think about, if he needs something to think about, if that makes perfect sense. But anyway, we're going to go to Saffie this morning already. Good morning, man. How are you doing?
I'm tired, but I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. What time is it where you're in Canada, aren't you?
Yeah, it's like 5 a.m. Six almost
5
5:30.
a.m. Have you got out of bed
Yeah.
or have you been up for this?
No. I got out of bed. Yeah.
I hope you slept a little bit anyway, man.
Yeah,
That's
no, I slept a little
dedication.
bit. I'm gonna go back to sleep after, but I was just
Oh, I'm loving the commitment, mate. Thank you so much.
gonna.
Obviously, it was yesterday for both of us now. What did you make of the game? What was your overriding view of the game from yesterday? Because it was an interesting one, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, for a game that didn't mean much, it had a lot of things that happened. I
Yeah.
mean, Ferran Torres, he was definitely the star yesterday. Like, I mean, the way he finishes is just outstanding. He was just always in the right place at the right time. I
Yep.
mean, Cancelo had a good game yesterday as well. I mean, it was just good to see some of the players having better days. But I felt at the back, of course, actually I saw today. I saw like flashbacks of us at the start of the year when we weren't at our best, because it almost looked like when Garcia and Ake are back there, you can really tell how much of an impact Diaz made, because you can see sometimes it's
Yeah.
just people just power past Garcia, and he just, of course, he's not the same as Diaz. So yeah, I picked that up from yesterday.
I mean, that's a good point, because I think if anything, it shows you that how good our defense is now and how bad our defense could be, just like that, if
Mm.
things started to implode in terms of injuries and suspensions. It's a big if, of course, but I guess it does show. We've gotten so used to this incredible organisation, and I guess certain players as well, because Cancelo and Walker have been very big this season. They were part of that defence yesterday, which was pretty poor, and I guess it shows how much maybe even they're relying on Diaz and Stones' form this season as well. Not because they aren't good players, but because obviously they're maybe followers as opposed to leaders. And I think there's an element of it showed how easily our standards could slip, couldn't it, if we're not really focused?
Yeah, I mean, this is how it was at the beginning of the year when everyone was writing us off as well. Like when
Yeah,
we lost 5-2 to Leicester, I think this was the same center back partnerships, Ake and Garcia. And in that
yeah,
game, we gave away three penalties, and yesterday we gave away two. So there's a common trend there, like clearly when they're in the back line, there's just less confidence going throughout the back line. Even Walker didn't look like himself. But I mean, I I think Walker had his foot off the gas a little bit because I think he knows, in
yeah.
the final he's gonna play. But yeah, I'll I think Ferran, because I heard this thing somewhere where people are like, "Oh, City, the players can't play themselves into the finals now." But I was like,
Yeah.
I said, I don't think that anyone can break into that first team that played against PSG. But if there's any small injuries or
Yeah.
someone's not 100% fit, like maybe De Bruyne is not fit or somebody, Ferran Torres is right there. Like he's showing that he's ready to go play. Even Pep said yesterday he can play striker. Like, what's the
I mean,
problem, right?
it sounds crazy to say this, and I kind of hope it's not true for emotional reasons, but at the same time, he'd be earned if so. But would anyone be surprised now if Ferran Torres came off the bench ahead of Sergio in the final if we needed a goal? I mean, it's got to that point now, hasn't it, where Guardiola yesterday, and I think Guardiola was just very much high on life yesterday because he was like giddy, like he was talking to children in that kind of way. It was quite sweet, but he was so enthusiastic about Ferran Torres. He was absolutely bouncing in the press conference, but rightfully so. I mean, the quality of those finishes yesterday, I saw the expected goals return for his chances. It was like 1.19 or something like that, and like to get a hat trick, and it was instinctive. Is this his long term future there, Saffie? Is it is he going to be? Is that it? Is he a striker now, or is it not as simple as that?
Yeah, I heard people ask Pep the same question. And he said that, I mean, he's gonna think about having to play him down the middle, like especially with Sergio leaving now. And like he said before, that with all the COVID and all that, it's so hard to have, like, it's so hard to bring in a big money signing. So like,
Yeah,
if you look at Ferran's numbers, which also Pep couldn't stop talking about, he was nonstop talking about how
13
Ferran,
goals, 13
yeah,
goals. Yeah,
13
already.
goals. That's good for a player first year. He's only 21. I mean, that's a good goal return. But yeah, I mean, he's a good squad player. Like, he's been a fantastic squad player this year, and he can score a lot of goals. And I mean, I don't think in a Champions League final, like we've seen against the games against Chelsea, he wasn't really super good. I feel like more in the smaller games he's performed well. So I don't think that in the Champions League final, that he would get it in front of like Sterling, or who else would be on the bench.
Jesus maybe,
Jesus, yeah.
or Sterling and Jesus. I mean, yeah, it'd be those two coming ahead of him. But Sterling was quite poor once again, unfortunately, yesterday. I'm not trying to hang him out of dry and stuff, but he was, and like, I mean, and I guess this feels quite like an important couple of games now for Sterling, because if he's going to want to be that first sub, he's going to have to impress a little bit more. And I know he's in bad form and stuff, but there wasn't really much of an encouragement yesterday that he could play his way out of it, was there?
No, I mean, Sterling's not that technically or naturally gifted player. He's someone that like almost goes off of momentum, and he likes like having a hot streak. Sterling's not the most gifted. He's not like Mars, where he just is just that the touch just sticks to his foot every time, or Bernardo Silva. He's more of a
Yeah.
player. He's like a crazy freak athlete, and like he could run for you so much. The runs he makes, people can't live with him. But that's the thing. Like, sometimes right now when he's on the ball, it's just it seems like he just lost some of that ability to just run past somebody, or the ability to just go right in the box and be at the same time. Like what we saw from Ferran yesterday, where he was at the right place at the right time. That's what we saw for Sterling for so long. And I mean, that will
Yeah.
just come back when he gets that good run of form, I guess. But I mean, yeah.
And what did you make of Carson, man, getting his debut? I mean, one thing I will say is like the photos at the end where obviously I felt sorry for him because he couldn't do anything with any of those goals. But all the photos at the end when everyone was hugging him, everyone was giving like high fives on the back and all that kind of stuff. He's popular. He's popular, and I guess
Yeah, he
we
is.
underestimate how much that can matter, can't in the squad? Because obviously we heard as well Guardiola talk about not Guardiola. We saw an article saying how popular Mendy was in the squad and how he's been really influential in keeping the morale up in the dressing room throughout this one, even if he's not been playing. And Guardiola said yesterday people don't realise Carson's a bit of a leader as well because he's obviously relatively senior. So it's one of those things where I guess, one, were you happy? And I guess maybe do we underestimate just the importance of players sometimes in the background because, they don't have to be on the pitch to be influential, do they?
No, of course. Like, I think Carson brings such a good bond, because everyone loves Scott Carson. Everyone loves him. Like, even Mendy. Like, I've seen in so many interviews where people like Walker and Fon said, "Oh, Mendy's such a he's like a person who brings the mood in the dressing room so high." Same with Carson. I mean, and it's not people that you would expect from the outside, or people that like don't watch
Yeah.
City that much. It's not people. It's not someone that like. It's not people that you think would be the big leaders in the dressing room. But I mean, they're the voices in the dressing room, kind of, and they're like the live. I don't know how to say it, but like they kind of bring everything alive sometimes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and yeah, I mean, and he saved the penalty, which I mean, I
Oh,
think
I was
that they got
gutted for
lucky, to
him.
be honest, man.
It was a good
It's
penalty
good.
as well. He got his hand down
Mm.
strong as well. He genuinely was a good instinctive save. It's just obviously when it smacked that hard at you, you can't really decide where it's going. But going back
Yeah.
to that point, I mean, a lot of us will know in maybe in an office or at work or at school or whatever amongst friends. There's always one who may not be the smartest or the best, but they possibly keep everyone laughing and stuff like that. And someone like that does matter in general. You know, you do need people like that around the squad. Obviously, you want them to be, you know, obviously very good at football too. And I've got no doubt that Mendy may move on, but you can't underestimate how important it is that people remain professional and, you know, keep the chin up. And I guess Carson has remained professional as well. And I guess it's nice to see him get his rewards. And I'm just happy that we won as well for him, because conceding 3 goals, that would have been a clean sheet, actually, interestingly enough. If it'd been, you know, Diaz, Stones, it probably would have been a clean sheet, you know, and Carson would have walked off in a clean sheet his debut. But it doesn't really matter too much. And Alf's just said as well, which is a good point, Delph was one of those figures. He was indeed.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Like, and people like that.
Zinchenko too. I think he's a good figure in the team as well.
You need people like that. You do need people like that, because it's a collective unit, you know. And sometimes you just need people who are good at cheering others up, man. And I know it sounds really simple, but even if they're just backups, I remember Micah Richards stayed at Aston Villa for years, apparently, just because they really liked him, even though he was injured and couldn't really play any games. They were like, he was just dead popular around the dressing room. So like they were like,
that would be something we would do with Mendy. To be honest, I could see that happening. We give Mendy a contract extension. We're like, oh, here, yeah. That would be
maybe
so
it would
funny.
be. Maybe it would be. We obviously saw people rested, like Foden was rested, Diaz, Stones, Laporte was given a rest, Edison, of course, just totally rested or whatever, and obviously Mahrez as well. Are you expect? Do you know what? I've just even forgot who our next fixtures are. Like, I've forgotten who we're playing next. I can't remember.
Brighton?
It's Brighton, isn't it? Yeah, it's Brighton on Tuesday. I mean, what are you expecting to see? Them back in the team, I guess, and obviously Cole Palmer as well was on the bench. Didn't get on, unfortunately, but I do remember when we did that with Foden a few years back. Everyone was saying, "Oh, Foden's not got on a couple of years ago," and now obviously he's in the team. So I guess I'm not saying it's going to happen, but sometimes the experience is what they're there for, if that makes sense. But I guess to elaborate on that, are you expecting to see any academy players on Tuesday? If not, why? And if so, if you are expecting to see them, do you think they'll get on the pitch?
Yeah, I actually do expect it, because I think, I mean, that the team that we want to play in the final, I think Pep has to get them out on the field altogether for at least like 70, 80 minutes against Everton. Everton are they're a good team, Everton, and they're fighting for a spot in Europe. So they're actually going to give us a test. So I think Pep is going to keep the first team ready for that. But like Mahrez hasn't played in a few weeks, so maybe he'll give him 60 minutes or Foden. So I think it'll be a mixed team. I think we'll see Mahrez, Foden. I feel like Stones support, but at the same time, I do think we'll see some of the academy players, and I think and we'll also see like maybe we could see Tommy Doyle as well, because he wasn't on the bench. I don't think so, right? I don't think Tommy Doyle was on.
No, he wasn't. He was just Cole Palmer on there. I mean, what about Delap, man? Surely Delap was.
Oh yeah, Delap has a good case to start too. I mean, if he played up top, it's a striker, and it was like Foden, Mahrez, and we had like Doyle, Bernardo and Fernan or something. I mean, why not? Or Cole Palmer. Yeah, it doesn't.
He's a highly gifted player. Saffie, man, go back to bed. It's crazy tight.
Course,
so was it 5:15 in the morning, man? It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you always, mate. You're an absolute legend. And I'll catch you very, very shortly. See you in a bit, mate. Bye-bye.
I see you, man. Bye.
That is dedication, getting on there at 5:15 in the morning. Don't forget, if you're watching and you're a member or you're a YouTube member or a patron, you can find the link over on patreon.com/Esteemed Kompany or youtube.com/Esteemed Kompany in the community tab as well. Let me just send it to you. I just realised I haven't tweeted out the live video today, which is very silly of me. What am I doing, Stephen? It's very early on. I'm just going to just quickly do that tweet, and I'll get on to, I think it's Matt is waiting next. But if you want to have your say, you can find the link there, and you can jump on and have a bleary-eyed chat with me this morning. Because why not? I know some people just want to stay in bed, and I don't blame you, because I got out of bed and had a shower for this as well, just to get on live, but it's worth it. Coming to Matt. I hope you're ready, mate. Good morning, Matt. How you doing, man? You all right?
Not so bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm decent. A little bit tired. I had a bottle of wine last night, and I'm regretting it massively. Yeah, how was your evening? Were you decent? Was it all right?
That was fun. That was.
It was fun.
Yeah, I've got to say, right, that there was loads that we didn't want to see City like that.
Yeah.
Play like that. But as a game, as a spectacle, it was everything for a Friday night. Even my partner, she was watching it, and like it was a good laugh. There was lots to like about it.
It's one of those games where you sit and just laugh about that, isn't it? Because it was a bit like I put on Twitter, it's like it's got big. Does anyone fancy a kickabout kind of vibes? It was just like everyone was like just dicking about a little bit and having fun. By the way, whereabouts are you, man? It's first time.
I'm in Manchester, mate.
Okay, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. But yeah, at least I know it's not crazy time in the morning. Like Saffie was at 5 in the morning in Canada. At least I know you're just.
No, this is perfect. This is perfect for me this time because when you do them late, like I'm knackered by then. I'm done. I know you are, but I have the choice. Yeah. It's your job.
No. Like last night I was there thinking about should I do the 5v live, and I thought, I'm just tired. Like this week, we've had like loads of wedding planning. We've had a mortgage stuff going through. I've been accepted. We had obviously sitting in the Premier League, so I got smashed on Tuesday. And when you're in your 30s, the hangover lasts, doesn't it? It lasts, and it drags you down for the rest of the week. And I'm like, fucking hell, if I was 20, I would have brushed it off. But I was there by Thursday. I was still tired from drinking too much on Tuesday. And so I was like, for last night, I thought, no, I can't be bothered. I'll do it in the morning. But anyway, we're here now, Matt. And thank you so much, by the way. I really appreciate it. But yeah, it was fun last night, wasn't it? It was a wild game of football. And I guess, is that all we can really expect now from the next two fixtures against Brighton and Everton, because the season's over, in terms of the Premier League? And I guess, do we just want to see some fun stories? Is it simple as that for you, mate?
It is at the moment, and he's giving people a run out, just giving different people a run out and keeping them fit and not taking too many chances. I'd love to see Delap get on at some point, but I don't know whether that'll happen. He just needs to keep rotating his squad. I mean, Torres needs some more time, I think, as well. We need to see more of Torres.
And what did you make of Torres last night? Because Guardiola was very happy. The quality of that first goal as well. I don't think anyone was talking about that enough. Even that was like, I swear, if Salah,
I didn't even know what I was seeing. I didn't know what I was seeing. I thought he'd headed it at first. I kind of blinked and missed it, and then watched the replay, and I was like, "Oh my god, that! Can I watch it again and again?" Because that was ridiculous. But I think what was said about him last night is that his positioning is amazing. He's just naturally in those positions. And if you compare him to Raheem Sterling at the moment, Sterling's just that half a yard off the ball, or his touch just lets him down a little bit as well.
Yeah,
Torres, he's bang on it. He seems to be bang on it right now. But obviously he's not had that many games. Amazing amount of goals for the lack of games. But we need to see a little bit more of him if he's a real contender for the Champions League final.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Champions League, is one game not one game, maybe a few months in terms of football too early for him. But what I will say is that he's definitely made people sit up and notice, and that's all you can do, really. I mean, we've all been saying as City fans, you want to see some players at least kind of trying to grab these dead rubber games by the scruff of the neck, and he's done that. I mean, and as well, Guardiola was talking about him last night so effusively in the press conference, and he said his numbers are great. And I'm not saying he's been anywhere near Sané's level yet. He hasn't, if we're being brutally honest. But Sané's max goal output was 16, and that's an interesting number to comment, because Ferran Torres is on 13 goals, and he's barely played any football, really, and he's barely even played anything close to his best form. And I guess the point we're making there is more like, this guy, he's got an eye for goal, and that kind of stuff is like, it's something that when you've got a player like that who clearly is that good involved, sometimes you just need to nurture a little bit or be a little bit patient, don't you? Because, I mean, look how good Zinchenko's getting. Look at how even Gundogan started to find an eye for goal now as well. And what I'm saying by that is how players can change and evolve over years. I mean, what's to say that Ferran, after another year here, starts to find his confidence. He starts to explore Manchester a little bit more because life started to open up. And you might be like, fuck it, I'm the man, And by the way, as well, in the press conference last night, you went, it was a beautiful goal, wasn't it? And I love that confidence, a little bit of like, I think he believes in himself, but I think he needs to find a reason to believe in himself, if that means. I think he needs to see that he could be useful in this team. And Guardiola also said his performance against Crystal Palace was possibly his best one when he scored that great goal as well. So is it a case that maybe he's just starting to find his role in this team or find a bit of confidence?
He's doing amazing, because most players that come into Pep's team take at least a year to get used to the system and find their place. And Mahrez took a little bit even longer than that. He needed to find his place within the team. So Torres has done amazing. He's not played much. He's had COVID. It's his first season. But he just finds those positions and those places. And we keep going on about City not being, in front of goal, not being clinical enough sometimes, or missing chances. A lot of chances they create, huge amount of chances and miss them. Well, he's not. I don't know what his chance to goal ratio is, but
nor do I. But it's high, isn't it?
It's got to be, because he's not played much, but the amount of goals that he scored. And that's exactly what we needed last night, because Newcastle were we're putting every man behind the ball essentially and looking for that counter attack. And often when teams do that, we try and play through them. And it kind of wasn't coming off, so it needed that amazing free kick from Gundo and those crosses, and someone like Torres to be in the right place and take it first time. That's what we needed. So I can only see him getting better and better and better. And if Pep can see him as a striker or in that middle role, I mean, Pep never plays really an out-and-out striker. All gone are the days of the Linekers and just leave him in the 6-yard box sort of thing. They need to be able to play, and he clearly can play, and he can come deep. And I've got to say that Jesus last night, his performance, I mean, you said he was okay, but I think if you rewatch it, his work rate is phenomenal, and it's like.
You know what? No, you're right. I think I underplayed him a little bit, to be honest, and I was. I think sometimes you just miss a player because you're talking about another player.
Yeah.
I think, and a lot of people were saying, and then I was starting to piece it into get in my head a little bit afterwards. And I was like, do you know what? He was a lot better on the right than he's usually because he completed most of his dribbles and all that kind of stuff. And it feels like those two are just better the other way around, doesn't it? Almost. It's like Jesus, for what it's worth, by the way, he would always be my Man City squad because I think he's just so valuable because his attitude is spot on. And I think you need players like that. I mean, you're not going to get a better squad player either of that level than Jesus, in my opinion. So, and hopefully, if he finds like a purple patch as well, you will score a bunch of goals. But what were you going to say? Sorry about Jesus, because I was going
to say his work rate was phenomenal in part. And I mean, in this game, it was interesting because it was all fun. But if you look at that, there was the 3 minutes 35 total possession, which Cal Walker, come on, like you could have gone for.
I was like, yeah.
But I was like, it reminded me of the under-18s game the other day that I watched. it was against.
Yeah, did you watch? That was good, though, wasn't it?
I watched
Burnley when.
I watched the second half. Yeah, and it was like Burnley haven't had a touch in about 20 minutes. I would have loved to have seen that, but there was bits of it. So bits of Jesus' performance reminded me against the Champions League against Real Madrid the other year.
Yes. Yeah.
Where he's tracking down that. He was on the left, I think. Was he? Trying to remember against Madrid. But same on the right. He was
playing as a false nine, wasn't he, that game? And Jesus was kind of positioned out on the left, I think.
But if you watch Jesus, he ran that touchline all game against Real Madrid. He didn't do it all the time last night, but he was playing that kind of role. And I think with Jesus in City's team, it's about finding the place. Like with Mahrez, I feel like he struggled to find his place. There's no doubt he's an amazing player, but within this team, I think it takes people a little while to find that, and for Pep to work out where to play somebody for the better. I mean, it's so fluid anyway, but certain positions or certain areas of the field suit a player. And I think Jesus could carve out, some sort of position, certainly out on those wings anyway. And at the moment with Sterling, okay, you got Mahrez, but with Sterling sort of struggling, that's what Jesus could provide, that wide player.
I think you've touched us over there, Matt, which is probably that we don't really touch enough on as fan base, and it sounds like a simple thing, but it's probably a little bit deeper than we realise when we go into it. Because you talked about finding a role within this team, and I mean, every player, every team has to find a role in the team, but I would say it's probably more so Guardiola, because it always feels like a position with Guardiola is a position with an asterisk. It's like, if you're a centre-back, you're a ball-playing centre-back, you have to be able to drift into midfield. If you're a full-back, you're an inverted midfielder, and if you're a winger, you're a false nine, and if you're even just the old-fashioned number 10 now is a false 8, and you've got to be able to defend, and the number 6 has to be able to play as a centre-back as well and go into. So it feels like every basically position in a Guardiola team is different to every other basic position that we know as laymen's and as footballers will know. I mean, if you Gabriel Jesus in Brazil, you're just a number 9. Whereas if you're in Manchester City side, that doesn't really exist in the same way or same sense. And I feel like we often forget. And once again, Mahrez is a good example, man, as well, because Mahrez, traditional winger, pure winger. But when you're at Manchester City, you got to be a little bit more than that. You have to be a little bit more. You have to be able to, you have to have that pause that Guardiola mentions a lot, when to put the foot on the ball. And I think we forget how often players have to learn how to play under Guardiola, not just because it's like going to school again with football, isn't it? And I do wonder if Jesus and certain players, as good as they have been, as effective as they have been, still some players might have not found their personal their niche, I guess, and And you do need to find that, don't you? And it's not easy, is it, man? It's not easy because you go out play for Guardiola. The expectations are even higher than anywhere else, aren't they?
Yeah, and so some players, there will be a limit to their ability to, to actually fit into Pep's team, or there'll be a limit to it, and those players might move on. And I think we saw quite a few players over the last 3 seasons move on because of that. They went to decent teams and they're still, playing football, but there's a limit to that. City buy quality players, basically, but that doesn't mean that they're going to perform to their max within the first season, apart from Ruben Diaz, who is a freak. Now, so say somehow we sign Haaland, don't expect him to do what he did last season in the first season under Pep. He's good. It'd be amazing if he did, but I don't expect it. You've got to give these players a chance, just like Sterling. You've got to give him time now. It's been an odd season. You've got to give him time. And the defense, last night, I thought, by the way, Scott Carson is my hero. He saved the penalty on his debut. I'm sorry, he saved the penalty on his debut.
If we can do it, we can do it. That's what I keep thinking. Like, go on,
listen,
Scott. Like, he's there, just like,
how is he 35? Because listen, I'm 42.
Oh really? Fuck! Like he looks older than you, mate. Like he's basically I checked his birthday September the 3rd and mine's September the 10th, so he's basically exactly the same age as me. Give a week. I'm like, I know I look slightly young for my age anyway, but he looks old, man. If someone said Scott Carson was my dad, no one would question it. They'd think he was like late 40s and I was about 30 or something like that. He'd be like, okay, he was a young dad, but no one will question it. Like he's got like he's basically grey. He just looks like. Looks the same age as Pep, I would say.
Yeah,
Pep's the manager.
He looks.
That's mad, but
I just can't. He's just brilliant. But I've also got to point out, right? We conceded 3 goals, right? But 2 of them were penalties, and one was a corner. They were all off set pieces, essentially.
Yeah.
So I didn't think the defense, although however chaotic they were, and they gave away the second penalty wasn't the Ake one wasn't a penalty. There's no way it was. No way.
Yeah, go on. What was your take on that? I mean, to me, I saw someone say, by the way, for what it's worth, Matt, as soon as I saw that happen, I was like, they've got to give a penalty. Not because I thought it was, just because you could just tell, you know what I mean? It's like, I said last time on Twitter to someone, if a moron could find a way to avoid this penalty, the referees will choose that same route as well. I don't know what it is these days, but it feels like everyone's lost their collective mind and they choose the most extreme decision in these circumstances. But it looked like Ake, to me, went to block the shot. Nicola's dropping things in the background. You're right in there? She's fine. I can hear clattering going on. But it looks like Almiron miscontrolled the ball and then as a result stood on Ake. So it's like the reason that didn't happen, say, against PSG when Diaz and Zinchenko jumped in is because a higher quality technical player didn't miscontrol the ball and they got the shot away instead. And it was so harsh, wasn't it? Incredibly harsh on Ake.
It shouldn't have been. I knew that they were going to give it. Once they checked the offside, and I knew it was onside as well. I'd seen that move. I knew it was onside. I knew they were going to give it, but it shouldn't be because he slipped. He went to shield. As far as I saw it, he went to shield the ball, and Ake went to get around that side of him, goal side of him. Essentially, his foot slipped onto Ake's foot, and then he fell over.
Exactly.
I don't see anything that Ake did to go and touch to make. To move towards him.
Sliding to block a shot, wasn't he? But he didn't slide into the player until the player ran into him. So it's like there needs to be. I mean, the ref. I don't even know because I feel like the ref would look to give it anyway. But it was like, it's. I don't understand sometimes. And my problem with VAR, and I don't know where you stand. My problem with VAR always was that because the referees weren't good enough. And my comparison was all like, you've got a baby, right? You can't do those square in a circle block puzzle. Those ones where they can't do that and they can't get it in. Then go, right, okay, they're ready for that. Now give them an iPad. And of course it would be. That's what it's like for me. It's like, no, don't give them that until they can do that puzzle. And referees are people who, for some reason, make terrible mistakes, but then we're giving them more tools to make more mistakes. And it's like it was always going to be fucking chaotic because they're not good enough anyway. So and the point is everyone's like, oh yeah, but it'll make it easy for them. It's like, no, because they're obviously useless. And I don't know how they're that bad. It's like I wonder I don't get it. I just don't understand sometimes how the football has been crying out for some sort of video intervention or backup because every other sport does it. The application of it and how it's being done is terrible at the moment. I agree.
and there's a big debate around that. I think VAR should stay, but I really think they should look at how rugby union does it. I really do. I think in rugby,
so it's a challenge system still. I can't remember.
Yeah, the power is with the ref. Yeah, the power is very much with the ref, but he can ask for clarification about things. Yeah. So, but they can only answer yes or no, essentially. Yeah, the VAR. So, is there any reason I couldn't award a try? Yes or no? Yeah.
Yeah, like that 50 questions game where you got to guess.
So yeah, it's like the ref wants to give the try. I want to give offside. Yeah. Is there any reason I can't give offside? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever a penalty. Yeah. So and they're mic'd up, and to the public. If you watch a game, I played rugby all through high school. I'm a football fan, but I played rugby all through high school. Now, if they're mic'd up to the public, you can hear them on the TV explaining.
Football.
I know,
but I
want. Well, I'll tell you what. It changed. Do you know what it does help with? It helps with players not being seen as idiots, essentially, because they can pick up the voices on the. So
they would have to change. Football would change overnight if that was the thing, wouldn't it? certain players. It'd be interesting to watch certain plays, but I think we'd all suddenly realise there's a lot more to Fernandinho than we probably want to realise.
Yeah.
Actually, he'd probably come across as brilliant, but there'd be certain plays you'd be like, Jesus Christ, like they didn't want to hear that. But it'd be fascinating though. It'd be absolutely fascinating. I think we all probably agree either way, Matt, that the referees are absolutely fucking useless, unfortunately, and they feel like they referee in different sports was at times. That's what it feels like. It's crazy. I
think they're confused. I think it's such a mess the way that VAR is actually executed at the moment. The way that it's played. It's got a little better since they first introduced it. But I think the refs are confused as to what to do, and I don't think that the power should be with the ref. If the ref didn't see that, as a penalty, didn't see it at all. That's that. VAR shouldn't be called or whatever. I don't know exactly what happened in that situation. I couldn't remember what actually happened last night. Where the the ref wanting to give it, or
I think the referee. I can't remember. I'll be honest. I'd be lying if I said so. But either way, I think we'd agree that some kind of reforms or something needs to happen, man, because it's
definitely
frustrating. But either way, I mean, did other than Jesus and Torres, anyone else stand out for you last night?
Okay,
no,
so
not. I'm just curious.
Yeah, so obviously, I could go for the old bloody team. Obviously, Scott Carson, fine, absolutely fine, not a problem. Nice, safe hands. Looked like a mature keeper.
We forget he's a decent keeper, actually.
Yeah.
He's a meme now, but he was doing well for Derby, a team who was challenging for promotion at the time when he came to City. And he would have been a Premier League keeper if Derby had played 4 more games and gone up or something like that, So he's a good keeper.
He was fine, made a save off the penalty. Well, he couldn't have done anything about the others. I thought Ake was trying too hard and forgot the basics. He kept wanting to get up the field. Cancelo was fairly lively and okay. They were all kind of okay. Gundogan and Bernardo held up the game. I thought they were obviously pivotal. Torres just brilliant. Other than that, I thought Kyle Walker was again like Raheem Sterling. He was just a bit off, but when Pep said in the post-match they were distracted, it was obvious. It was obvious. Too much pizza. Definitely.
Definitely. Matt, you're a legend, mate. Thank you so much.
No problem. Cheers for having me on.
I'll catch you very, very soon.
Thank you.
Just walking around in the background causing chaos. All right, see you later, man. In a bit.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Bye. Big love to Matt. Don't forget, guys, youtube.com/Esteemed Kompany members and patrons are welcome. For now, though, I'm going to go to Louie, man. Good morning, mate. He's got the Ferran shirt out. That is a flex and a half, mate. That's what you need. 21 Ferran. How you doing, man? You good?
Yeah, good. I'm happy I recommended to you to do it at 10 and not 9 because I literally woke up at about 8:30 and I was just like, oh my God.
No, you're right. No, to be honest, I wasn't really thinking straight when I did that. I've got to end this video in like 10 minutes. I've got another video to do before I'm going out to be a friend for lunch. So some things where I'm glad you said that actually, because I wouldn't have. I didn't get out of bed either, so I was knackered. But yeah, Louie DM me basically saying should do it 10 instead of 9, and like it's a good shout, man. Either way, what did you make of the performance last night?
Well, it was kind of like basically just the whole game was just like you said, don't have a kickabout basically. And it was also, we had that because it was like we finished all our games. Like, well, we got the championship. Basically, we wanted to, what was it? It's gone out my head. It's just like, it just felt like end of school type of vibes. And it was just like, just get, like, just play along and just have some fun. And if we, like, just one of them ones.
Just signing everyone's shirts or as everyone's school about to finish school and all that kind of stuff. Do they still do that in schools? I don't even remember. That's what they did when I was in schools. If you're younger watching this video, let us know in the comments. Does everyone still sign the shirts at the last day of the season? That's what they do. Last day of school did it for me. But Ferran was good, man, wasn't he? Ferran was very good last night. He's such a natural finisher, isn't he, mate? He's too
good. It's just like I can't remember when it was with Asan. He said about like maybe the second half of the season. He would be like he'd have this like the starting slot on the right, but obviously got hit by COVID. And since then, it was just like you could tell. Like after the Palace game, I was actually like when he celebrated, and it was just like I was like, he's back. He's actually back now. And
he cried as well. He cried. He meant a lot to him, didn't he? I think he was frustrated as well. When you forget how much these things matter to people, don't they?
Yeah, that like it's just it's amazing. Like people like discredit people like players and think like, oh, they're gods. They don't need to have emotions. When it's just like it's hard. It's as hard for them. So for them, like for him, like the way he played last night, I'm kind of thinking, does he get in? Does he get in? Like does he get into the team for the final? And if he played in the last 2 games and he gets a goal involvement, either a goal or assist in each game, does he get into the team? Because if he does that,
no. But you never know, man. You would never know. I mean, it makes him at least a first choice sub, at least, and that's still an accomplishment, you know. Because I think Guardiola will trust the false nine thing still. But I mean, he's giving Guardiola something to think about, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And he's putting himself through like, I wouldn't be surprised off this. And I want to come to like Sterling as well with this. I wouldn't be surprised off this if Ferran has a like sensational Euros with Spain.
Yeah.
And now he's got Laporte to play with him. Never thought I was hoping Laporte would swap from France to Spain just because like how much of an idiot Deschamps is, but it's just like I think Ferran. I'm hoping it's probably gonna bash in my face now, but I hope he has a wicked Euros with Spain because he deserves it.
No, definitely, man, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he did, because I think he'll play relatively regularly for Spain. And like, would anyone be surprised if we were talking about Ferran scoring 3 or 4 goals in the Euros? Because he's a natural finisher, man. And what he's shown is that he can score in like these little streaks as well. He can score 2. He scored a hat trick for Spain. He scored 1 for City. He's very much when it works for him. He's very much when he's hot basically. You know what I mean? Like he will score like in like bunches of goals in the game because he has that ability, doesn't he? And he seems to get more confident when he scores a goal as well, which is good if he's a starter and the team's on fire around him. Do you think he'll be more involved next season now than he was this season?
Definitely. It's just whether, like what Pep said last night, it's just like the way Pep was speaking is all about him. I was just like, has he ever been like this for any player ever? Like while he's been coaching, and I'm including like Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Lahm, Alaba, anyone that the 3 teams he's been at. I can't remember. It might be because I'm just like trying to forget those ones, but I don't think Pep has ever been as high, like has praised someone as highly as Ferran was last night. I genuinely can't remember.
What he reminded me of a little bit of how he talked about Foden after that preseason game when Foden was 17 against United, and he was like, "Oh, you just witnessed something special here," and he was like, "You've just seen, Phil Foden's first game," and obviously, I think there's an element of that. He's just very happy because we've just won and we've won the league, and he's probably a bit giddy still. But I mean, I think he's obviously saying that as well because I think he knows that's what Ferran needs to hear, man. Like I think Ferran's a confidence player, and he's very much. He's an extremely confident lad, but I think at the same time, because of his age, it's built on a little bit of pride. But I think he still knows he's got a lot to learn. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's a little bit not vulnerable, but he's definitely a little bit like no. Do you know what? He probably is a bit vulnerable because we saw him cry after that goal, and I think he's always been built on this self-belief. And then this could be his first hard patch as a player. And it's been a tough year for everyone, and especially him. Again, well, not especially him in this team in particular. And I wouldn't be surprised if all this relief after the Palace goal and yesterday when he said, "Oh, it's a beautiful goal, that wasn't it?" I wouldn't be surprised if that's a side of him finding his own personal confidence because we're all human and we once again, as you said earlier, we forget they're not gods and they do have emotions as well, and their world is getting into this football side and his world has been sat in probably a small flat somewhere in Manchester as it rains in a new country when he's used to his friends and family in sunny Valencia. So I would not be surprised whatsoever if he's like, "Oh, life feels good for the first time at Man City for me as an individual," and that will only as well come back next season more, won't it? Hopefully,
definitely. He's gonna I wouldn't be surprised if literally the moment he sees his family when he goes back to Spain just before the Euros, I would be surprised if he does an Instagram live or something and just say to the fans and everyone, "Thank you so much for helping me out in this this tough period for me." I was you could tell I was all those sort of things, and it'll just be it'll be brilliant for him when he sees his family again.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be absolutely amazing for him. And he's a quality footballer, and I'm happy for him basically. And I think we're going to see a lot more of him next season as well.
Yeah,
rightfully so, to be honest. What about Scott Carson, man? Made his debut. You happy to see it?
I'm happy, genuinely happy. It was just mad, seeing I remember Mike, what's his name, Mike, saying there might be some good news that Scott Carson might be playing, and then Simon from Manchester Evening News puts team buses here, and I was like, please say I tweeted underneath him as a reply saying, please say Scott Carson's on media duty. And it's just go on.
I actually I got a DM on Twitter on Thursday. I'm trying to find it right now. I'm just scrolling my DMs. And a lad DM'd me, who I don't really know personally, he just said, "All right, mate, big fan, hearing that Scott Carson is starting tomorrow from a source if you want to break it." My source being, I'm from the small town where Scott Carson was born and grown up. And I didn't want to tweet out because I didn't want to get anyone presuming that, because I didn't want to get in trouble and only because I've done stuff with City in the past, and I didn't want anyone thinking that someone City told me, but he didn't. He was just some random guy who lives in Whitehaven where Scott Carson's from. And they'd heard around the village that Scott Carson was going to play. So that was on Thursday. But I didn't know it was going to be true or not. But I remember reading that DM going, and then he just DM'd me last night when he saw the team line. I was like, "There you go, man." And I was like, I got back to it at the time and said, "Look, I'm not going to share that because I don't get anyone in trouble at Man City." But I'd heard it was going to happen, and I couldn't believe when it actually did. And to be honest, I kind of wasn't surprised because last season, as Scott Carson then said, he said himself in the press conference, I had heard that they were going to play him against Norwich, but he was going to come on against Norwich, but Eddie. What's it called? Eddie was still going for the clean sheet. So when they thought he conceded, they were going to sub Ederson off and put Carson on last season. But that unfortunately didn't happen, which was harsh. It was harsh on him. But either way, he's a Man City player now, man. He's a Man City player properly. Go on.
I thought they might have. Do you remember when from 2017 when Ederson got kicked in the face by Mane and he got subbed off? When Bravo came on, he got the clean sheet. So I thought maybe they might have done and plus they did the 5 subs. They would have started Carson in goal, and then in the last minute just be put Eddie on, and then he gets the clean sheet.
Oh, I don't know, man. Either way,
they could have done that, but I think they might have been "Oh, that's a bit disrespectful for Carson."
I think the clean sheet goes. I think that's the FPL stuff as opposed to actual, how the clean sheet trophies work. Okay. That'll be the fantasy Premier League stuff will be different to how it's calculated by. I don't know because that'll be a different way. But either way, it was good fun, man. It was good fun. It was a wild game. I mean, shame Palmer didn't get on, but go on.
I don't know if you clocked it last night, but I actually realised these 3 games, like, well, 2 games now, we got a bit of advantage on Chelsea because for the final, because we're playing 2 teams now, like, and last night as well, like 3 teams, we play 3 at the back, and they can realize, but they can realize, like, especially the midfield, they can work out how to like play from side to side. And like last night, I was thinking, oh, we're going to play the defensive team, but look how Newcastle played, and I have to say, fair play to them and Steve Bruce for playing the way they did. But yeah, and then the next 2 games now against Brighton and Everton. I don't know about Everton's. I think it's more. I definitely think it's 3, but it might be a 4. They might just switch it around. But playing them, like, and we're playing 3 at the back. Like the team can realize, like, oh, they can try and do systems and work it out, and then when they get to Chelsea, it's just like, right, how, are they playing like Newcastle? Are they playing like at moments, and just be like, right, we can do these spots, and I'm hoping they like clock that, like use that for the final, but I don't know. It's
Who
just
knows, man? Either way, it's interesting, isn't it? I just realised Chelsea are playing in the final today. I didn't even realise it's the FA Cup final, and they've got Leicester and Villa as well. So they've got a few big games left, man.
It's,
they've got
it's
Leicester
weird.
Twice.
Yeah, it's weird though. It's weird though having the FA Cup final like in the middle of the, I guess because it's the Euros as well, and they could do what they did, like what they've done the last 2 seasons. Like for us, like when we played Watford, and then last season like Chelsea against Arsenal. But I guess because the Euros are playing, they wanted like a 2-week gap between the Champions League final and the Euros, or 3 weeks. I don't know when it is, the Euros, but. Like it'll be interesting to see how they play today.
It will do, man. It will be interesting. I mean, I personally won't be catching because I'm going to go out and do some social stuff today. But either way, I'll be fascinated to see, and I'll be catching up with you later. For now, though, mate, Louie, I'm going to crack on because I've got loads more stuff to do. I'm going to go 5 things learned video. But you too, man, have a great day. Guys, City have won 4-3. It was a great game. It was a great game. It was fun. It wasn't a great game. It was a fun game. And at this stage of the season, that's all we can expect, really. And that's what we can hope for because football is absolutely wild. Go and check out my match reaction from last night, and the 5 things learned will be coming up in a few hours as well. For now, though, have a wonderful day. Louie, see you later, mate. Have a good day.
See ya, man. You too.
Bye-bye, guys.